seismic event. Now, let the party begin.
Your healthy radio addiction starts now.
Hollywood's Motorcycle Madhouse on iHeartRadio.
And welcome everyone to the show. Thanks for joining us over at Motorcycle Madhouse Radio Live, as well as on YouTube, Facebook, and all the other great platforms. Today we got a hell of a show for you today. We're going to change it up a little bit. We're going to get a little more serious here over on Motorcycle Madhouse, get into some more serious subjects that's not only affecting the biker community, but the country as a whole. And what really got me into this subject today, the American justice system with its different tiers, is I was looking through the Mongol case and all that stuff, seeing how it was going, and I noticed one thing about it. $1.3 million they have spent so far to defend the patch over the last 10 years. So that just goes to show you something about the different tiers of the American justice system. Another thing I found interesting as I was looking into this subject was how stupid we are in electing our congressmen, our freaking senators, and even presidents, going back. Now, I'm not talking about anything specific as far as, politicians right now, but what I do know is this. And this is for the last Congress, out of 167 members of Congress, out of about 500 of those, I must admit I got that backwards, but 167 members out of 500 and 55 out of 100 senators are lawyers. They're lawyers, okay? We all know how we all feel about lawyers, okay? And half the freaking U.S. Senate is filled with lawyers. Now, income. The median member of the U.S. Congress was worth at least $1.1 million. That's more than 12 times the net wealth of the median U.S. household. And that doesn't tell the whole story. Since the chambers of Congress are not equal in wealth terms, the median net worth of a senator was $3.2 million. Versus $900,000 for the members of the House of Representatives. Now, let that sink in. And we're going to get back to that as we go through today's program. But first, I wanted to get in something really cool. And I just seen this video come out today. And it's a member of the Holy Riders Motorcycle Club in Jerusalem. Now, Dibber in the Wind did a huge freaking presentation on these guys on his channel. So go over to Dibs in the Wind and check out his segment on his trip to the Holy Land. And it talks about, and you know how bad the Holy Land is over there, man. All that tension, all the rivalry and all that stuff. But this motorcycle club and its brotherhoods, they stuck together. It didn't matter if there was Jews, Christians, Muslim, whatever But that's some true brotherhood to stick out that stuff. But what really interested me in this video was, because I tattooed for the last 25 years, own shops and stuff like that. One of the Holy Riders Motorcycle Club members owns the oldest tattoo shop in the world. And guess how old it is? 700 years old. What a backstory to this. Go ahead and let's take a look at this real quick.
This is the oldest tattoo parlor in the world. It's only around 700 years old.
My name is Wasim Razouk. I am the 27th generation of the Razouk tattooing family. My family has been doing tattoos for 700 years.
Do you do these tattoos to yourself or your father did them?
This, my father did this one, but those I did myself. My great-great ancestors decided to come from Egypt to the Holy Land 500 years ago.
For 500 years, the Razouk family has been tattooing thousands upon thousands of people with this very block. The Razouks are Coptic Christians. They began their business tattooing fellow Christians in Egypt with small crosses inside their wrists so that they could identify themselves in the Muslim-majority country.
It serves as a pass to enter churches because Christians are being attacked. You have to prove your Christianity. What better and easier than just a small tattoo?
When the Razouks finally immigrated to the Holy Land, they discovered yet another way to continue their work.
There was a tradition that had already existed. Pilgrims who got a tattoo on themselves to prove their pilgrimage.
Today, it's not just Christian tourists that flood the Razouk tattoo parlor. Visitors from every background come here to connect to their history.
Those stamps have touched so many people. It's carrying the energy of the faith of those people.
It's like a souvenir of Jerusalem for me. I've never been to Israel before, so it's really special. I'm so happy right now.
Most of my clients are really first time tattoos for them. And when they read the story and when they see the designs, it just makes sense. How come in China? How did you see this? How did you see the...
In Instagram.
On Instagram. You follow us on Instagram. You like it? Excellent. If you go to the Dead Sea, don't swim with this, okay? Put your arm up. And if you see other people with the arm up, do you know that they've been here before?
I'm so excited for it now. I'm thinking that maybe I want to do a tattoo. We shall see. So, who will be the next generation of the Razouk tattoo artists?
My 15-year-old son tattooed his first ever tattoo on me. He tattooed his grandfather as well. He loves tattooing and he wants to continue it. And he says that he wants to pass it on to his children as well. Here we go. We guarantee another 2 generations.
That's awesome, ain't it, man? That's a member of the Holy Riders Motorcycle Club out in Jerusalem. And to think that is 700 years old. Holy cow. You know, I'm a history buff because of the tattoo stuff. I love, I've been tattooing a long time. Again, I owned a couple shops and stuff. I thought that was pretty cool. Kind of mixes tattoos and the motorcycle club scene. Again, go visit Dibber in the Wind's channel and you'll see more about the Holy Land Riders. Also, before I get into the next segment, we have a request or a GoFundMe page that we put up on Bikers and Brotherhoods over at Facebook. One of our followers here on YouTube, a member of the Chosen Few Motorcycle Club, one of his brothers is having a hard time. His 20-year-old kid died, and they're trying to get things arranged. So if you guys can go over and check it out, we'll also get a link here in the description box. He needs help, man. A 20-year-old kid, baby in our terms, you know, for us older guys. I cannot imagine the loss that father's feeling. So if you guys can help him out, that would be appreciated with anything that you guys can donate to him. Now, let's get back into the subject of the video. And again, the reason why I was looking into this and brought this subject up is because of what's going on with the Mongols. But more importantly, I believe that, you know, with this channel, it don't have to be just about club stuff, about, you know, tits, ass, or what biker, you know, what you want to do, bitch, moan, whatever. I think as bikers, we got a big voting block. And that's something that they were talking about with our A-Bait interviews. And a lot of us just sit back as bikers and don't know how much power we really do wield. We really do. And to see that the average net worth of a senator, these are the people that we're electing because they got a D or they got an R instead of who's right for the job. Senator worth $3.2 million. Is that the type you think them people really have your interest as a biker in mind? I don't. Yeah, there's maybe 1 or 2 in the Congress, like Knight and Horse, you know, was in there and stuff like that. Might have had our interests, but we got to start making a lot more inroads into the political system as the biker community. Look what we achieved in Texas. Now, you had Popeye Moss, OG from Texas Biker Radio. They were out there hardcore about what happened in Waco. And what happened in Waco was terrible. You know, the cops knew this shit was going to happen. They could have stopped it. Instead, 4 of the people out of the 9 that died so far that they know of were killed by cops. Now, Reyna came in and arrested 177 people, I think it was, just on the spot, with a warrant that you fill out right there, no judge's signature, none of that stuff. And you've seen the process through the whole thing. I think maybe 25 of them right now is being charged. Hopefully, you know, it goes down even more, because right now I don't think, how can you convict somebody and make it on appeals? I just don't see it. But anyway, that's why it is important to get involved in our system. With that, Texas Biker Radio, All for One, and the group got the word out there, and they beat this guy by 20 percentage points. An incumbent, they beat by 20 percentage points. That's why it's important as a biker to get involved in things like ABATE, the Motorcycle Profiling Project, even AMA, anything that has to do with biker rights, you want to get involved in, and you want to be active in the process. Now, there's a 2-tier, and you know what, according to this article, 3 tiers. Now, I skimmed the article, and it's dead on with this country right now. And the reason why I brought up about how much senators and congressmen are making, because it makes sense about what I'm going to read next about the justice system in this country. You know, I all know that the United States is the best country in the world to every one of us. But we got to look inward and see what the hell and where this country's going. Now, Tier 1 they describe as immunity, zero accountability, and let's make a deal. Now, if you're in the Tier 1, the wealthy, that's where you fit in. And it goes on to say, in Tier 1, the Justice Department rushes to the negotiation table to play let's make a deal. Now, anybody who's ever been in some shit knows that it's usually not the prosecutor rushing your ass to make a deal. You know, they're either trying to flip you or they're threatening you with 10 to 25 or something like that. That don't happen in Tier 1. That's basically the political, corporate, and the financial elite that fit into that one. Now, let's be honest. I don't care if you're a Democrat or you're a Republican. We all know, going back to the mid-90s, how corrupt Clinton is. And it was dead on in 2016. You know, you can debate, again, you'd be a Democrat or Republican, but if you take that out of the picture and look at it with straight eyes and none of the bias, you can actually see what she did if you look like that. But she's a Tier 1, so the FBI don't go after her. Now, the financial crisis of 2008 and the deal making, the bailouts with the taxpayer monies, it's been referenced extensively in conversations about elite immunity. Now, a lot of people lost their homes back then. There was no bailout for us. None. But the banks got it. And the banks are the ones that caused that whole blowout, because they were given loans on an adjustable interest rate schedule to people that in no way could afford those loans. So guess what? It burst. You know, 2000, you know, the late 2007, everything was great. Mortgages were going out the door. It was the best time to be in real estate and mortgages. Next thing you know, that bubble burst. Anyway, another example, and I'm going off this article right now, is the recent thing with General Motors' ignition switch scandal, in which General Motors knew about the defect that shut off the engine while driving and prevented airbags from inflating. The worst part of all this is that General Motors knew about the defect. They knew about it, but refused to fix it, instead choosing to cover it up. Ultimately, the defect forced General Motors to recall up to 30 million cars and caused 124 deaths. Now, if an individual like us caused 124 deaths, we'd be a serial killer. But this is a tier 1 company. So, despite the wrongdoing, no one went to jail. Instead, General Motors did a prosecution agreement in which they paid a $900 million fine and was subject to 3 years of federal monitoring. That was the response to 124 people dead. 124. Now, despite a federal probe or calls for one, ExxonMobil face no jail time for suppressing their own scientist climate change research data for decades. When asked about prosecuting Bush administration crimes, lying its way in the war aggression, that's what this article says. That's not my belief. I'm just going with the article. The Obama administration chose not to prosecute. So if you're in tier 1, you're great. If you got the money, you're awesome. Now, tier 2, it's leniency and merciful prosecutions. Now, does anybody in the chat room here or on the radio, do you fit in the tier 1? I'm guessing you don't. You know, because all of us right now, we're on the bottom of the thing, man. We're like tier 3. So, tier 2 is, again, it's like it's reserved for ordinary people who have some degree of wealth and privilege. The law tends to treat this tier with compassion, with mercy, because they got, they got money. You know, not as much as tier 1, but they got money. So why they do not enjoy the immunity the elite has of the top tier, and that's something that's just scared the shit out of us as Americans, that the rich, the famous, they got immunity from crime, while me and you don't. And these are the type of people going after the Mongols Motorcycle Club right now. Them prosecutors have been at this for 10 years. They haven't been going after any other clubs like this. It's only been the Mongols. Now, you got to ask yourself why they are doing this. What's in play? You know, do we have to hit where it's a mostly Latino club? Or where do we go with that to, put in perspective of why they're only going after the Mongols and that patch? Now, in the patch trial, they were only convicted from the time that rat Doc, whatever his last name was in there, Doc the Rat, okay? All the other charges were found not guilty once they got rid of that guy. So you still got to wonder what's going on here. And what's going on here is that top one, tier 1, or the elites, whatever you want to call them, they don't like bikers. Because bikers don't take no bullshit. They don't care. Well, at least bikers I know don't care. They stand up for themselves. It's that rebel image. One of the biggest things during the Mongols trial was the way the biker lifestyle was. They didn't like how we did this. They didn't like how they did that. So it didn't fit into the way they saw things and the way things should be from an elite perspective. So get the prosecutors on them. Don't give them anything. And that's one thing about the federal government that's hard. 98% conviction rate. 98%. Basically, if they haul your ass off, the FBI, ATF, DEA, whatever the hell it is, they haul you off. You got a 2% chance of winning your trial. Why? Because they use informants, they use bugs, they use technology, every damn thing. And that's one of the things that a lot of people don't understand, especially on social media, when they see a lot of these articles about clubs. Well, they're gangs. They do this, they're organized crime. Bullshit. If they were organized crime, let me tell you, they wouldn't have trouble paying dues right now. Okay? No. They are working with the government the media is, half this, because I do a lot of the media stuff. You can read between the lines that a cop actually wrote some of the reports. So we don't fit into the elite of this country. So that's why they're going after us. And that's why they go after other, it's just not bikers that they go after, man. If you're not top tier 1 or 2, you're shit out of luck when it comes to the justice system, man. Because if you look at a return of attorney fee, most felony retainers, depending what it is, are $10,000. That buys you a ticket in the court and into the justice system, gets you at the card table to play that cards. $10,000. Now, I think a study came out, 75% of Americans don't even have $500 in their account. Don't have $500 for an emergency fund. Now, somebody gets into some stuff. How the hell are you going to go in with 10 G's for a retainer? And that goes towards a lot of the motorcycle clubs. How are they going to walk in there with 10 G's? They can't even afford $100, $200, $300 a month in dues. But they're going to come walk in there with 10 G's because they're supposedly a gangster. That's what the law says. Come on. Don't make no sense. And that's a bottom end felony. Now, if you're looking at attempted murder, something like that, with a lot of what the inner city guys, because Chi-Town's lit with that stuff. And I think if anybody here in Chicago is in the chat room, you can speak to that. I don't know anybody in Chi-Town living the regular mojo life has 10 G's to put down on a retainer, but 50 G's if they get into some bullshit. Now, how is that a justice system? How is that equal justice under the law in this country? You got to ask yourself that. How is it set up? Now, again, we're going to swing right back around. Most of the members of Congress are millionaires. These are the people that make the laws. These are the people that were voted in because of a D and an R. What I'd actually like to see is the biker community come together. Shit, start your own party, do something, run for office, get our own people in there. We beat this guy in Texas. We to do it ourselves again. The biker community is a huge voting bloc. But the problem is we don't get together and exercise that as a community. We need to start that. If we're ever going to get a fair shake, if the clubs are ever going to get a fair shake, we need to do something. We got to get involved. $25 for ABATE. Go get involved with ABATE. Go to the meetings. Get involved. It don't take but 2 minutes to pick up a phone, to call a senator. Right now, you got a government shutdown going on, and 800,000 federal workers are out of freaking work, out of a paycheck, but they still got to work. Me, I'd have give the big this if that would happen to me. Hey, I ain't working, I ain't getting paid. It is what it is. But anyway, so you got this side and you got that side. You got, I call them the commies on the left that don't want to budge or nothing like that, because if they let illegal immigration fall, they don't got a voting block. But then over on the Republican side, all their millionaire and billionaire donors want that illegal immigration, so it's cheaper labor for them. They make more money. So us in the middle are pushed out of the whole process in general. And that's the reason why you stop voting in millionaires, you stop voting in these lawyers, because you know damn well these lawyers and such, I don't know if you ever dealt with lawyers, but I don't see them to be the most honorable people around. And those are the type of people that you're trusting to make your laws, or trusting that our borders and stuff are safe. No, come on. It's we the people. That is what this country was built on, was we the people. And when it comes to this tier justice system, if you ever want a fair shake, you got to get involved. You got to get out there. Your voice is heard. That's what's going to bring a change in the justice system. Now, this has been going on for what, 100 years, 200 years with the justice system. The elite get to go. We get screwed as the working man and women. And that's one thing that I think, now I'm going to bring Harley Davidson into this, is they don't realize is they're going after the tier 1 customer when it was the tier 3 working man and woman that put them in business, kept them in business. We talked about this yesterday. So now they're bringing in tier 1 freaking, private equity firms that take over dealerships. And we all know how private equity firms work. It's nothing but the dollar. Nothing but the dollar. So, we got to get together, man. Let's go jump back into the freaking chat room. If you guys want to call in, go ahead and call in. That was the monologue for tonight. I'll go on for a couple minutes. We're scheduled from 7 to 7:30. If nobody calls in, about 100 a week, unless you want to eat state food. I'll bring her to Langston. Pastor Aaron, no lawyers in heaven. You got that right. I just do the chat, and then if I miss something, play the show again. Rock and roll. But, hey, what's up, Southern Belle? How you doing, honey? But what's everybody think, man? Give me a call if you guys want. I'll put on the headphones and get ready to go with the call-in section of the show. Again, I'll be waiting for a couple minutes, and then if not, we'll just get going and all that good jive. But hopefully everybody's having a good week. It is freezing here in freaking Chicago. You ever walk out and your nose hairs freeze? That's what's going on here right now. It totally sucks balls, let me tell you. But anyway, what do you guys think? 2-tier? When do we? Shit, I had a public defender. I'm still waiting for that girl on Facebook to knock my door. You know what, Pam? I can't believe that she did that to you. You got to give me her name, and I'll call her out here, and I'll put her worldwide for you, honey. That's calling her out. Oh, shit. I had well, you know what? With the public defenders, now you're talking about public defenders. Come on, they got like, what, 300 cases? They hardly even see their clients. If that's called equal justice right there, that's pretty messed up. And most club members, they fall. You're on air.
Hey, you know that the team you're talking about, they got a shit ton of money.
What's up?
The government, the team, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Oh, well, the team talking about that's in trial, and going to possibly lose their patch. They've got a shit ton of money, but the government, man, there's no fucking way you can fight the government, man. They got all of our tax dollars, and they're just going to keep coming and coming and coming. I mean, I think we all really know there's only one way to shut down that fucking machine, and I'm not going to say it on the air, but I mean, there's something has to be fucking done. They're abusing the powers. They're using our fucking tax dollars to supply their little fucking war machine, and there's not a fucking thing we can do about it legally, because you're right. We're all on the fucking third tier, dude. We're shit, dude. I had to have a fucking public defender when I went to fucking jail. I didn't have that kind of fucking cash.
Well, that's the thing. That's the first thing I think we got to get over, Dan, is that we can't do nothing about it. I think as a biker community, with how large we are, and if we would just get our shit together and get like we did in Texas. Now, again, I'll bring up Texas till, the cows come home, as they say, because we were able to beat a 20, I think it was an 8-year incumbent, 4-year, whatever the hell it was, by 20 percentage points, because we lit up social media. We banded together as a biker community and got out there and voted. And the problem that I see with this country, like I said earlier, is we only vote for DNR when DNR is both corrupt as hell. You know what I mean? And when you start throwing lawyers that are multi-millionaires in, they're making laws in Congress, they don't care about us. They never will. So I think as American citizens, and especially bikers, we need to, kick up some dust and get out there and really show them, hey, this ain't, status quo anymore. We're tired of it.
Yeah, I guess I'm guilty of that too. pretty much I just went down the line and voted Republican, and just so I could just get the fucking Democrats out of there. But I really don't know what half these motherfuckers are doing. I don't even, I'm guilty of not really following politics because fuck, I got other shit like going to fucking work, making sure the kids are okay, and fuck following your show.
Well, that's the thing right there, Dan, is when we tell ourselves we're too busy to get involved in our country, and next thing you know, like you said, you're voting straight Republican ticket, or this guy's voting straight Democratic ticket. And like here in Illinois, and I know it's like that in California, you guys are like behind enemy lines, like I call it. We're on the front lines over here in Illinois. But they vote these people in, especially Chicago. Now, those in Chicago is going to understand what I'm talking about. One particular party has had control of Chicago for over 117 years. And right now, wow, Chicago is the murder capital of the United States. It's in a war zone. You got 50 and 60 people a weekend dying or getting shot, and it's just, okay, another day. It shouldn't be like that in America, but the reason why it is because, these people in Chicago, 117-something years, have voted for the same party who's done nothing but, work out their same interests and give them a little lollipop at the end of the day. Now, a lot of people in Chicago or outside of Chicago don't understand this. There's neighborhoods within Chicago, wards we call them, but there's a lot of segregation still going on in Chi-Town. And, to think that these politicians are actually helping us is a joke.
How come all those murders are not being advertised in the news? I mean, what the fuck? Are they covering all that up? I mean, they got news after news about Trump, but yet they can't say shit about what's happening on the streets. And I'll tell you what, California's segregated, man. We have little old towns called Little Saigon. We got towns that are nothing but Hispanic. I'm telling you, man, it's the same fucking deal out here. Why is it in the news, though?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question, why it's not in the news. Because the tiers that we're talking about, the tiers, you're wealthy, you're famous, blah, blah, blah. Then you got a little money at tier 2. But tier 3 is garbage. They don't need it. You don't do nothing for them. You don't freaking, provide for them. You're just some little moron on the side of the road. So why should we care if you're killing each other? That's the way, and the news media has become so complacent in it. There is no reason why a 3-year-old baby should be shot in the damn head for sitting on a porch in Chi-Town. Not a reason. Now, the left to go about the guns. Okay, your gun laws don't work. Anybody from Chicago know I can go to 6 Corners right now and pick up an AK-47 with no issue. It ain't your gun laws that are going to help out this stuff right here. It's always funny. It's always the gun's fault. It ain't the gun's problem. They want guns to stay out of tier 3 level hands, I can tell you that. But when it comes to Chi-Town, why it's not in the news, them people don't matter. It don't matter to them. Because they got no money.
Wow.
And I know it's like that in California. Come on, you got what, Crenshaw out there and all that stuff?
Yeah. We got worse than that. Fucking Crenshaw's not even that bad anymore, man.
What's bad out there?
Fuck, dude, we've got, we got fucking, like, a whole neighborhood. Like, if you even drive down the wrong street of nothing but essay gangs. I mean, I'm shitting you. They don't even advertise it in the news. A lady and her kids drove down the wrong street, and these Cholo gangs just shot the shit out of her car, killed her and her kids, man. You don't hear that fucking in the news out here. I don't know if you know this, but most of those predominantly black neighborhoods out in L.A., they're all Hispanic. They're predominantly Hispanic now. Shit's changed in L.A., guys. And it's coming your way soon.
Well, you know what? With Hispanics, I love them to death. I grew up in a Hispanic neighborhood. My second mother's Hispanic. She can't even speak a lick of English. She always used to whip my ass and shit like that. We get in trouble and stuff. But even our citizens who are Hispanic cannot stand what's going on because they had to come over here legally. And what's going on with the Democratic and Republican Party now? Again, the Democrats want the vote, the Republicans want cheap labor. Where does that leave the working man? You know what I mean? Where does it leave them?
Yeah.
It leaves them up at shit creek, and you wonder why our freaking wages haven't risen at all, because you got the cheap labor coming in. Now, you know, you're a Trump supporter, and let's tackle Trump. Do you know the reason why that everybody's going after Trump right now? Because you got the tier one elites see this man who is working for the other people in the United States. They hate that. He's going against everything that they're about. He can't be controlled. When the trade war broke out, billions of dollars were lost by these top level tier people. So, you know what I mean? I used to be, this had to be, 15, 20 years ago. I used to be a blue dog Democrat. Now, that's a huge difference than what a Democrat is today. I used to be a blue dog because, you know, my grandfather was a miner. My father was a steel worker. Those were true freaking Democrats back then. They were JFKs, FDRs, all that kind of stuff. But now the left, the communists, as I call it, tore up the Democratic Party. You got, what, 13 blue dogs in the whole freaking Congress? It's nuts how, you know, the country's either going too far left or it's going too far right. And we're paying for it. And unless the biker community gets involved and starts standing up for itself, come on. Texas has been without a helmet law forever. And now all of a sudden some congressman gets it up their ass that, hey, they got to make decisions for us. And I bet that half of us voted for her because it was a D or an R behind her on her vote. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess I got to get fucking more involved and really sit down and take a look at what's going on.
Well, you know, what I'm trying to say is, us as a community, we need to look at beyond the DNR. And we got to vote for the people that talk to these people, you know, write these people. And if you get a freaking staff letter back that was photocopied, you know, next time around, he don't give a shit about you.
Hey, I know I talked to Rudy, and I hope you get him on there, because we need more guys like him getting into the city office and public, and more guys like that, more working class guys. We got to get these old blue bloods out of office somehow. I don't think we can do it, but, I mean, we got to do it somehow. I mean, the Clintons, they're not going nowhere. We're never going to prosecute that bitch. That fucking bitch. Oh, dude, I can't stand it.
Well, you know, you brought up Rudy, and it's funny. I did talk to him, Dan. And right now we're trying to plan the interview, because right now, and this is a politician, one of our own, the FBI, DEA, and the ATF are harassing a sitting councilman because of his past ties to a motorcycle club.
Yeah, it's some bullshit.
And that's why we haven't heard from Rudy yet, but we've been in contact with him. And right now, how can you believe that somebody that's just been elected, a working collar man, biker and stuff like that, you have federal agencies all over him because of his past?
Yeah, the fucking, I guess a drunk DEA agent fucking harassing him, man, out on the streets. And when he told me about that, I'm like, oh, he doesn't want to be a rat. I said, fuck that. These motherfuckers are going to play dirty, and they're going to use that card against you, bro, to fucking, to keep your shit safe. Like, you need to do something about that. Fuck those dudes.
Right.
Fuck that motherfucker, get him fired.
Right. Well, you know what, Dan, it's just funny. Greg just brought this up, and it's something to talk about here. And he said, Hollywood, at least our governor is going to legalize 420 in Illinois. Well, that's great that they're going to legalize it. I smoke it any damn way. But that's just a little freaking lollipop or tidbit that these people throw out to the masses so they keep their jobs. That's what I believe.
Exactly.
Now, we have a pension problem here in Illinois that's god-awful. We're broke. We're next to junk bond status here in Illinois. And Here they are giving raises to their cronies and saying, okay, we're going to provide an account for these 800,000 federal workers if they need it here in Illinois. That is crazy. We can't even pay the bills. We're on junk bond status, and we got freaking veterans sleeping out in the street. Now, where you're at in California, in San Francisco, I heard it's called Needle Row or something. It looks like a third world country out there.
It's bad, dude. It's fucking bad. It makes you fucking want to just get a silence 22 and go to town and fucking clear the streets.
Right.
Anyways, I'm out of here, man. Good talking to you.
Rock on, man. Go enjoy the chat room, man. I'll talk to you later.
All right.
Yeah, so what do you guys think? I'll take one more call, two more calls if you want, but I think this is a subject that we need to talk about as a community. Again, I know the channel is usually, biker this or biker that, but I think we got to, bring it, full circle and well-round the channel out. It just can't be about clubs, or it just can't be about, this event or that event. We got to get involved with the community as a whole. And again, ABATE is a great way of doing it, even though I'm not too fond of them. But AMA does some good work, even though they're, the biggest thing I got against AMA is their stance on pipes. Like I said during that interview, if they actually freaking heard my pipes, you'd hear them next state over. You're on air.
I might have dialed the wrong number.
Well, you're on air with Motorcycle Madhouse. Who are you trying to dial?
Oh, shit. God damn it. Let me get my headphones off. Hey, Wood, man, it's Drift, man.
Hey, what's up, Drift?
So get away from the politics for just a minute. Back to the justice system, shall we?
Let's do it.
So it's been many years ago, man, but I got busted on this fucking assault with a deadly weapon charge, man.
It happens.
Yeah, I know. It fucking happens, there was a gun or something. I don't know.
It happens.
I don't remember. It was a long time ago,
Right.
So I'm in the fucking jailhouse, and believe it or not, I got fucking OR. But I was living in a really small community with a county hospital, and I was the hospital's maintenance manager, so if they kept me in jail and the boilers would probably blow up or something, I think that's probably why they OR'd me. Right. Anyway, they let me out of the goddamn jail on this fucking gun charge, man. And so then, but even though I'm like the maintenance guy, I still ain't got no goddamn money, so I got the public defender, you know what I'm saying?
Right. How much did they want? How much were they telling you on that charge to get just a blue-collar attorney?
Because of the weapon enhancement, it was a minimum of 5 years.
Right.
Minimum. I mean, it doesn't fucking matter, man. Done. 5 years.
How much did they want to charge you for an attorney?
Well, I never got that far. I'm about to tell you a different story, if you'll allow me. Give me just a minute here.
All right, man. Go ahead.
All right. So anyway,
I'm going to take a smoke. I'm going to take a hit. You talk.
Yeah. Take a break. I'll talk for a minute. So anyway, hit that goddamn that tutor you got going on. Anyway, so I go to the first interview with the public defender, right? And man, I'm looking at this shit. I'm thinking, man, I'm gone. There's no way I can really get around this. I'm kind of fucking fucked here. So I go to the goddamn interview, and I tell the goddamn public defender the goddamn story, and then I look at her and I say her, and this ain't no goddamn, nothing against the goddamn women's or nothing, it just happened to be her, And I look at her and I said, man, I don't want to do fucking 5 years, and I'll be go to hell if this chick just didn't fucking blow up on me, man. I mean, she went just totally unprofessional. She started fucking going off about how she was tired of motherfuckers coming into her office telling her how they didn't want to do the goddamn time and bullshit. And I'm sitting there in this chair thinking, oh man, I'm gone. I'm screwed.
Mm-hmm.
So, we ended up closing the interview, the meeting, and I walked out of there, and so I went back to my damn job, and I got to thinking about it, and I came up with my own defense. You know, I went next door to the county psychiatric department, and I convinced them that I was crazy.
Perfect.
So I said, Mom, this is the fucking truth, I'm telling you. And so, they actually put me on a fucking airplane, flew me up to fucking Sparks, and I spent 2 weeks in a fucking hospital, man. You know?
Well, that's better than 5 years.
And then I come back to the fucking town I was at, went back to fucking work, and because I'd set up this whole fucking diminished capacity fucking plea, right?
Right.
Man, they just didn't fucking prosecute. And after a year, you know, they got a year, and then we're coming down to the end of it, and that's only the second time I talked to the fucking public defender. She filed a fucking motion to fucking dismiss for failure to fucking prosecute, and I fucking lost. But right. You know what? That sounds crazy. You think I'm making this up, and it's the fucking truth. But you know what? If I'd have walked in there and sat down and let the chick go off and then turned up and walked out without taking care of this on my own self, I'd have spent 5 years in the fucking joint, man. Period. End of statement. You know what I'm telling you?
And you had to do this all yourself because
where's your fucking justice here, man?
Right. You had to do it all yourself, and the public pretender is too busy to be bothered to do anything for you. You know, that's the problem in this country. You know, they get, 300-400 cases, these public pretenders? They don't want to help you. That ain't equal justice. That ain't.
No. No, I mean, hell, if I'd have walked in there with I've seen numbers in the chat room. You know, if I'd have walked in there with 10, 25, well, I don't know what, you know, just a fucking simple fucking deadly weapon charge. I don't know what's that worth, fucking 25 grand.
Right.
You know, if I would walk in and plop that on a different attorney's desk, you know.
Right.
I don't know.
Exactly.
Well, then therein lies the question, though, and this is interesting. Let's say that I had, and then if I'd have felt good about that, because okay, now I got a fucking suit, you know what I'm telling you?
Mm-hmm.
And if I hadn't taken my own business into my own hands to beat the fucking charge, would I end up doing 5 fucking years and losing 25 fucking grand because I didn't take care of it myself. You know what I'm telling you?
Right.
Does that make
exactly.
any sense? No, that gets kind of weird, doesn't it?
Well, you know what? It just goes to show you that you got to be self-dependent on yourself, and you can't trust what they're going to throw at you. Because a public pretender fucking telling me that, man, I would have caught another charge slapping the shit out of her.
Well, that's all I'm saying. You know, is part of it is what you have available to you, and part of it is what can you do for your own self.
Exactly. Rock and roll, man. Really appreciate you calling in. Really appreciate you calling. I always like talking to you, Captain, man. We're going to have to burn one of these days.
Hey, I'm telling you, man, next time you're up here in the fucking Portland area, hey, hang out, man. I got a place for you.
Rock and roll, man. Right. I'll talk to you later, buddy.
All right, bye.
Thanks for that super chat, Lori. Thanks, everybody else, for the super chats, and really appreciate that. But, yeah, that's the show today. Hopefully it gets you thinking a little bit of how we need to get together and get out there and fight this system, man, because it sucks. But with that, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video, share it if you can. Put the word out about us. That would be appreciated. Thanks to all my listeners over at Motorcycle Madhouse Radio, iHeart, and Spotify. You guys are awesome, man. The numbers look great for that A-bait, and it was awesome. But with that, I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for everything. Thanks for your support. Thanks for the comments and getting involved with us. I'll talk to you later.